Hello there. So I'm going to admit that I've been crazy and nuts and angry and a whole bunch of things I've been unraveling for this last little while. And I woke up today and I'll acknowledge I've been addicted to codependent, attached, expectation-filled love that was never really true or real. It was just a mangled interaction of broken people trying to heal with, at a lot of times, not a lot of integrity and not a lot of self-love. And I woke up this morning and kind of shattered. This is how confusing life is here. I waited until I was 30 years old to have a relationship with a person because I could not understand women and it was a big game, and then all of a sudden it's like biological clock time and you gotta fucking commit. And I married a woman. A beautiful woman. And she was very much like my mother. Had traumas in her childhood. And I guess that was comfortable for me, so I worked on healing my mother through my wife. Well, that lasted for 12 years. I had 3 beautiful children. It was amicable, and I still love that person. But I see her patterns and programs and anger and frustration still coming back to my children because I had 3 boys. She chose a situation where 4 different men were in the household with her, and it triggered her. No blame, no shame, no guilt or whatever, but it got to the point where she wouldn't talk about her stuff. I couldn't hold space for nothing that was said, and it was all about me and how fat I was and how I somehow wasn't supportive to her in... You want to talk the hardest thing that you'll ever experience is being sexually rejected by your partner? Especially when I was a good little boy, a Catholic boy, and I basically did my best. I waited until I was 30. I was a virgin until that point. And the first person that I ever had sex with was my ex-wife. And that just turned to shit after she was done pleasing and some kids showed up. And I'm sure a lot of women will say, okay, well, this is disrespectful. Well, I waited a good while after the kids were gone and breastfeeding was complete and she was ready to be seen as a sexual being again. And there was no expectation. I sat and waited until one day sexuality turned into begging and asking with no really discussion of why. And you want to talk the most shameful thing as a man is to beg the partner that you thought you loved to be intimate, to have pleasure with. And I guarantee it wasn't some messed up shit where I just got off in her or some stupid thing. She was given pleasure every single time. But until you knew that she had a trauma with a Western guy, she was Japanese, then a whole bunch of things start to happen inside. And she married someone that was like this symbol of her trauma. And then it turned into, I'm too fat and I'm too ugly and are you done yet? And other things, which really harms a man. And one day I had to smash my whole entire life, hurt my children, leave my home that I built. She didn't even come with a cent to her name, not a penny. And we had kids together, and I followed the dream, and I did everything. And then when she wouldn't deal with her stuff, she wouldn't talk about it, she wouldn't tell me what's going on, all she'd hint and whatever, I had to make a choice, and I had to walk away from a marriage. because there was no life for me. It was just make money and come home and serve her, because she was sad and broken and angry inside. And she married a man that was fully capable of being able to do that. But when she wouldn't talk about it, she would not allow me to discuss it with her. And that's her choice. I had to walk away from it. I had to give her half of everything that I had. And yes, some women may say, well, that's what the woman deserves because she was the mother of your children or whatever. It wasn't that I wasn't supporting my children. It was just she wouldn't make a choice. And I can't force that. I can't pressure that. So I went on in my life. That was my mother, by the way. She was raped as a child. So I married that and went into that. And then, guess what? Lucky me. Go 10 years out of marriage now. And all the women that I can attract into my life are the same. My latest partner, who I just ended with completely and totally today because I woke up and realized a bunch of things. But my latest partner was addicted to pain and suffering and called that love. Her family situation wasn't much different than mine, but she just, every time she'd get uncomfortable or sad or whatever, she would smash and trash and grasp and then blame, and I did my part in that. But you'll be really surprised to know, you might not believe me, but I just received. I felt it. I owned it. I never once spoke out. I never once wanted to harm or force her to hurt at all. But I was addicted, I guess, to that mangled up version of love. And after 7 times of trying to love her and getting smashed so hard each and every time, I had to give up because it was hurting me too much. I was hurting her too much. And to even try basically fucked us both in the most ugly, disgusting way. Last year, she was trying to get attention, and it was all around domestic violence and her daughter being kidnapped and all this drama that I'm not even sure is true. She's threatened suicide. She's basically told people that I sexually abused her in my tantra community when none of it was true. I met her while she was still married. And one day, she wanted me to have sex with her, even though she was still married. And a part of me said no. And I spoke that to her. I sat at a restaurant and I said, unless you tell your husband, I can't have sex with you. She got angry. This little child came out and she had a temper tantrum, and we left the restaurant, and because she didn't want that and she wanted to destroy me for even suggesting it and other things, she went to a bunch of hurt little children that ran tantra communities here. And all of a sudden one day I was no longer welcome. Some lies were told about me. She can't even tell me what the lies were, but I've heard indirectly that I abused her, which is absolutely untrue. I love this woman. Why would I abuse her? And why would I, in the most humble act of integrity I've ever done for myself, I refused sexuality with a person that wasn't being integral with her husband. And in the end, she ended up having a divorce and all these other things, and then came back. And each time she came back, there was always a reason. There was always a reason she wasn't happy, or it wasn't enough, or something. And I was addicted to getting hurt by her. And that, I own that as much as anybody. I was fucked up. She was fucked up. I'm not blaming her. I just learned after shattering myself a million times. I woke up this morning and I just said, I can't be with her anymore. I cannot. I kept giving her chances and chances and chances. And I can't be with her anymore. And I have to choose myself. And some people say, well, that's awful. Oh, that's not good or whatever. I had to choose myself because she's not choosing herself. And if I don't choose myself, we'll torture each other. We will die in each other's arms of this love that's not even love. It's attachment. It's fucking broken. It's angry. And it's just as much mine as it is hers. There's no blame. There's no whatever. But fuck, the hardest decision in my life. I thought it was my marriage. But then to go through all this kind of stuff and be lonely and unhappy and angry and all this kind of stuff. I reached out an olive branch the other day because she keeps showing up in my life. And I explained my whole experience of life and how hard it was and being with her and her trashing me and making these claims. I spent 3 years hiding under my covers in my bed because I didn't know how to respond to somebody telling a lie about me to hurt me. So I just sat there expecting to be killed at any moment for 3 years, and it basically stole all my confidence. Or I was just starting to branch out and do healing work with people and other things, and it just killed me. And I asked her face to face. I've been talking to her for the last week, and she was so sorry, and she couldn't explain it. Other than that little girl was angry, and she didn't even know that little girl is there. She just lets her rule the roost and smash and hurt every time. So I thought I wanted her to come out and explain to the world the lies she's told to try and harm me. And then she dragged her feet and dragged her feet and dragged her feet. And I was just like, fuck. And then I woke up this morning and I was just shattered into a million pieces. The only reason this continues is because I allow it. And I got to own it. So I told her today that there's no more. We're not good for each other. We're actually hurting each other. And if we want to move on, we have to let this demented addiction to false love die. Maybe she doesn't like that. I don't know. But I have it so clear inside me that I have to walk away because it's killing me, literally. The only love that I've had in my life since my divorce was broken. Paired with another person that had very similar wounds to me, we broke each other. And I burned to the ground yesterday. Burned to the ground. I was angry. I was frustrated. I burned to the ground. I was shattered. There was nothing left of me. And I woke up this morning and I said, no more. Being addicted to love is ugly. It lets other people hurt you. And then over this last little while, in my conversations with her and the calm and the clarity and other things that I shared, I hope she learned something because I learned something in me. I'm the phoenix. I'm growing from the ashes. I'm rising up. I'm recovering. And I can't be addicted anymore. I can't allow people into my life. And this isn't angry. This isn't frustrated. This is just so much purity. I can't allow them to be harmed by my lack of choice and for them to harm me by my lack of choice. It's pretty surreal sitting here. It's like letting the only thing I ever asked for in my life, love, letting it go. Because that version was killing me. I'm not angry. I guess there's tears flowing and sadness because I don't know what else to do. I tried everything. But I have to set myself free. And I have to set her free. Just not good for each other. We're not safe for each other. We cannot have a conversation that does not have some version of her pain show up when I hold accountable. And I look at it as much holding me accountable. So if I continue to chase and hope and expect them to change, I'm 90% the problem. That simple. So I set myself free. I set her free. I set possibility free, because I know a lot of people are tangled up in this codependent, attached version of love that's killing them. But I choose me. Not at her expense, but I choose me. Hopefully, that'll allow her to find something even better. Or maybe she'll choose to harm someone else in the future just to get that final lesson that she needs. But I'm not going to harm her. I'm not going to make this brutal. I'm not going to make this angry. I'm not going to make it whatever. I'm so tired. And I'm glad I made this choice. And I'm done. Because I love me. Thank you. You know who you are. Thank you.